Welcome to another class of botany. In the previous class, we have seen the general characteristics of algae and we have even discussed that is Chlorophyceae. In this class, we will discuss the other groups, that is Rhodophyaceae and Phaeophyaceae. Coming to Phaeophyaceae, here this one, Phaeophyaceae. Phaeophyaceae in this group now brown algae are included. It is also called as brown algae. Here this, as it is chlorophyllous, it will be having chlorophyll, that is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C. The organisms or the members of Phaeophyaceae or the brown algae, they have chlorophyll, that is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C. But along with chlorophyll A and C, other prominent pigments which are in more concentration are carotenoids and xanthophylls. Carotenoids and xanthophylls. Xanthophylls, especially this fucoxanthin, it gives brown color. It gives brown color. It is a brown color pigment. So because of the concentration of fucoxanthin, this algae appears as brown color. It has chlorophyll A as well as chlorophyll C, and then apart from these two chlorophyll pigments, that is, it also has carotenoids and xanthophylls, and especially this fucoxanthin. Example is laminaria. Example here as laminaria, sargassum. These are the examples which belongs to the Phaeophyaceae. Here in this these organisms, they show a little body structure. They have a little organization. In Chlorophyceae, it was just simple thalloid, no organization was there. Here it shows a little organization. Here it has the substratum. This part is called as substratum. Something with the help of which these organisms get attached to substratum. So this is the substratum. Then we have this long structure that is called as stripe and a leaf like structure. This is called as fronds. The body show organization. It consists of three parts. Here this is the base. At the base they have substratum with which it attaches itself to the some or the other thing, substrate. Here next we have this simple stripe like structure which is called as stipe, and we have a leaf like structure which is frond. This is generally the body structure of this laminaria. Another example which we have in Phaeophyaceae is sargassum. In this holdfast is there, this one is called as holdfast, not substratum, it is called as holdfast. This is the base. At the base, this one is called as holdfast. With the help of holdfast, it attaches itself to substratum. It attaches itself to substratum. Then it has stripe and this frond. Here in sargassum, sargassum is also another example of organism which belongs to Phaeophyaceae. So here in this sargassum no holdfast is there. With the help of the holdfast, it attaches itself to the substratum. But here there is no holdfast. So it generally floats on the water. The sargassum, they are having this big leaf like structures and they remain, that is they are spread on the sea in a large area, hectares of area, they will be spread on the sea. They doesn't have holdfast, they will be floating on the sea water and they will occupy a very large area on the sea. All green leaf like structures will be seen. So that part of the sea is called as Sargassum Sea. That part of the sea is called as Sargassum Sea. There boats and ships are not allowed. In that area where we find the sargassum plants floating on the water, on those areas, on that area boats and ships are not allowed, because when they go in that area they get entangled with the help of this with these plants and they sink. They get entangled with the plants and they sink. So, that is why that is a area no zone, that is boats and ships will not be allowed in that area. Now, here cell wall, this is the structure. Few organisms have hold fast and few doesn't have hold fast. They just, no hold fast means they cannot stick themselves. So, instead they will be floating on the surface. Phaeophyaceae, these organisms are also called as brown algae, even called as kelps. They have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C pigment, and along with chlorophyll A and C other pigments, that is fucoxanthin is also present, which gives brown color. Structure, here it consists of 3 parts. Here this laminaria, this organism consists of 3 parts, that is it has hold fast, then stripes and this leaf like fronds. Okay. And here another organism, example of another organism which belong to Phaeophyaceae is Sargassum. It does not have this hold fast, and because of the absence of it, it will not stick to one place, it will not be kept at one place. So, it will be floating on the water. So, it occupies a very large area on water. So, that occupied area is called as Sargassum Sea, where boats and ships are not allowed, because when they go near it, they get entangled with this Sargassum plant and they sink, the boats will sink. So, this was about the body structure. Here the cell wall. The cell wall is made up of 2 layered, we already know, that is these organisms have 2 layered cell wall. Here the inner layer is made up of cellulose and outer layer is made up of algin. Inner layer is made up of cellulose and outer layer is made up of algin. In Chlorophyceae, inner layer was made up of cellulose and outer layer was made up of pectin. So, here instead of pectin we have algin, the outer layer is made up of algin. Coming to mode of nutrition is autotrophic, because they have chlorophyll, they will be producing their own food. Now, coming to reproduction, they reproduce by asexually by producing biflagellate zoospores. They reproduce asexually by zoospores which have 2 flagella. These zoospores will have 2 flagella. So, biflagellate zoospores, with the help of this they reproduce asexually, and sexually they reproduce by the fusion of 2 gametes. It can be isogamous and it can be anisogamous, or it can be oogamous. We have discussed this isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous in the previous classes. So, these members of Phaeophyaceae, they reproduce asexually by zoospores, sexually by producing of gametes which are isogamous, or it can be anisogamous. Here the reserve food material is laminarin. Laminarin is the reserve food material. Laminarin is the reserve food material. Here one important use of this is, here alginic acid is extracted in this, because I already said you cell wall is having algin. So, alginic acid it has. So, from this laminaria, from the cell wall of laminaria, alginic acid is extracted, and that alginic acid is used to provide smooth consistency in ice creams. So, the smoothness is because of the presence of alginic acid which is extracted from the laminarin. So, it is used to provide the smooth texture in the ice cream. The reserve food material is reserve food material here is laminarin. So, this was about the Phaeophyaceae. Now, coming to this Rhodophyaceae. Rhodo is red color. So, it has pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Along with chlorophyll A and B, the most prominent pigment which we find is phycoerythrin. Here fucoxanthin was this. Here we have phycoerythrin as the prominent that is pigment. So, this phycoerythrin is a red color pigment. It gives red color. So, that is why they are red color, red in color. They are marine organisms. Mostly this Rhodophyaceae, they are mostly marine. They can be found on the surface of the marine water, or they can be found deep inside the water. They are found on marine water, they can be found on the surface of the marine water, as well as they can be found in the very deep layers of the deep surface, not deep surface, in the deeper layers of water. So, in deep water they are red in color. In deep water they are red in color because they absorb a wavelength of light, that is blue green region. They absorb light of the wavelength blue green region, because of which they get red color. So, if this Rhodophyceae, they are present in deeper water, the organisms which are present in deeper water, they have red color. They are red in color because they absorb the wavelength of blue green region, and that gives red color. In shallow water, on the surface, it appears as green in color. On the shallow water, that is on the surface. In deep water, it is red in color. On surface, it is green in color by absorbing red light. When they are on the surface, they absorb red light. When they are in deep water, they absorb blue green light. So, because of this absorption, they appear red in color. Because of this absorption of red light, they appear green in color. The reserve food material on these organisms is Floridian starch. Floridian starch is the reserve food material. This Floridian starch is similar to glycogen, amylopectin and glycogen. Cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectate. Along with pectate, sulfate is also present. Along with pectate, sulfate is also present. So, inner wall is made up of cellulose, outer cell wall has pectate, and along with pectate, sulfate is also present. Example of the organisms which belongs to this one, Rhodophyceae, Gelidium is one organism, Gracilaria is another organism. So, these organisms, they are useful in the preparation of agar-agar. Agar-agar is a nutritive medium which we use in lab for the growth of organisms. This is a nutritive medium. This nutritive medium is extracted from the members of Rhodophyceae, that is Gelidium, Gracilaria. It also, that is here, Porphyra is also a member of Rhodophyceae. It is edible. This Porphyra is used in preparation of soup. Porphyra is used in the preparation of soup. Coming to the mode of reproduction, here these organisms shows complexity in the structure. These organisms shows complexity in structure. Chlorophyceae, it was just mass of the cells, thallus was there. Here a little complexity is found. Here reproduction, vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction is because of the presence of production of the spores. Already said, asexual reproduction in all three algae, whether it is Chlorophyceae or Rhodophyceae or Phaeophyaceae, in all the three groups of algae, asexual reproduction is because of the production of spores. Production of spores. In Phaeophyaceae, the spores are motile. The spores are motile. That is, see here, zoospores, biflagellate, that is, two flagella are present. So, these are motile spores. Phaeophyaceae asexually reproduce by motile spores, that is zoospores. Here in Rhodophyceae, that is asexual reproduction is by non-motile spores. Non-motile spores. Here in sexual reproduction, as I already said, there is complexity in structure. All of them are multicellular. So, they have sex organs. They have sex organs. So, here female sex organ is flask shape called as carpogonium. Female sex organs is flask shape, which is called as carpogonium. Male sex organs is called as spermatium. As it shows, that is complexity in structure, it also has, sex organs. It has sex organs. Male sex organ is called as carpogonium, which produces, female sex organ is flask shape, which is called as carpogonium. Here male sex organ is spermatium. It produces sperm, it produces ova. So, which type of reproduction it shows? Sexual reproduction? It shows oogamous. It shows oogamous, that is, sexual reproduction is oogamous. One is small and another is big, but here both of them are non-motile. Both of them are non-motile. So, asexual reproduction is by non-motile spores and sexual reproduction is also by non-motile gametes. Asexual reproduction by non-motile spores and sexual reproduction is by non-motile gametes. So, this is the different groups which we have studied in algae, that is we have Chlorophyceae, Rhodophyaceae and Phaeophyaceae. All this we have dealt, but the important thing is the presence of pigment. Almost reproduction, asexual reproduction is by spores, sexual reproduction is by formation of gametes, vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation, almost the same but with a little difference. Here asexual reproduction is by non-motile spores, here in Phaeophyaceae asexual reproduction is by motile spores. But the thing is the common, it is by asexual reproduction is by spores, sexual reproduction is by formation of gametes, which are oogamous, okay, and mode of nutrition is autotrophic. The difference here is in the pigments and the reserve food material. Here in Rhodophyceae the reserve food material is Floridian starch. Reserve food material is Floridian starch, and in Phaeophyaceae the reserve food material is laminarin. So, with this we have finished our discussion on algae, that is Thallophyta. In the next class we will take up Bryophyta.